Denzel Dumfries.
Dumfries making tracks down that right side. He's done supremely well. There's Lautaro Martinez, and Dumfries is over. Fabulous break inside 40 seconds of the restart.
And Phil Foden has it. No. Oh, wow. Stopped on the line by Dumfries. Brilliant.
Ibrahima Konaté.
It's a test for the young defender. Passes the test with flying colours. Brilliant tackle.
Konaté crunches in a Granit Xhaka.
Great challenge.
Player Gakpo.
Bernardo Silva.
Likes the tackle. Bernardo Silva should have been tackled. He danced between two. He is finally stopped right on the edge of the box and down again.
And Marc Cucurella. One explosive month with 5 consecutive signings. Mourinho and 4 world-class stars all arrived in less than 30 days. La Liga might have a Real Madrid problem it cannot solve. A manager who knows how to win ugly. A left-back who never stops running. A right-back who bullies space like it owes him money. A centre-back built for chaos. A midfield technician who turns pressure into control. The royal mentality has awakened, ready for a spectacular transformation.
José Mourinho, regen of a squad next year. I'm happy, I'm smiling, so that means only one thing. Real Madrid are going to cook expeditiously come La Liga next season.
Despite possessing some of the greatest talents on the planet, from Mbappe, Vinicius and Bellingham to Valverde, Real Madrid still ended the 2025-26 season empty-handed. The departures of Toni Kroos and Luka Modric left the midfield unstable without a true tempo setter. A defence ravaged by persistent injuries became more fragile than ever, and the dressing room descended into the turmoil that everyone already knew about.
I don't think it's ever been as bad as this. I think currently the Real Madrid dressing room might be the most toxic, the worst I think I've ever seen it. The state which we are in right now. Seeing the way this team is, seeing the way this dressing room is, you can go back to all the 3 Galactica eras, yeah? Ever since Paris took over. You can go back to number 1, number 2, and number 3, currently which we're at. Like I said, it's toxic. It's the worst I have personally ever seen it. I've never seen it like this, where every player have got this player power where they think they are above the club. And that needs to change, because Mbappe thinks he's above the club, and Vinny thinks he's above the club. And now you've got Alvaro Carreras thinking it, Dani Carvajal's thinking it. We can't have that. And the only person, as crazy as it sounds, the only person that can change that is José Mourinho.
Florentino Perez found his answer in José Mourinho. The funniest part is that Mourinho himself, back in January, was still telling sports TV in the calmest tone imaginable.
Transformou-se uma opinião numa notícia de forma até
não conto comigo para as telenovelas. Há boas telenovelas, mas demoram muito tempo. Depois perde-se um episódio ou 2 e depois já não se apanha o rumo da telenovela. Não contem comigo que eu não vou em telenovelas.
Only 5 months later, he officially signed a 3-year contract at the Bernabeu and took charge on July 13. It was classic Mourinho, because no one in this world creates drama better than he does, even when he is the one denying it. Real Madrid immediately stepped on the gas in the transfer market with seemingly impossible deals, signing Konaté and Bernardo Silva on free transfers, while also activating the blockbuster moves for Dumfries at €20 million and Cucurella at €60 million. For a total outlay of just €80 million, they secured 4 world-class stars. That figure becomes even more outrageous when compared to their rivals, who are prepared to spend €100 million on a single player who is not even guaranteed a starting spot. This remarkable transfer business officially elevated the project into one of the decade's super projects. This opening move is only the beginning, because the next steps will prove that Real Madrid are building a true empire rather than merely patching holes in the squad. Because money can buy elite stars, but winning DNA and composure under pressure can never be measured by money. Just imagine Real Madrid's dressing room next season under José Mourinho, the manager who holds the unprecedented record of a 100% win rate in European finals, from Porto in 2004 and Inter in 2010 to his Europa League and Conference League triumphs. That power becomes even more terrifying when combined with a group of newcomers experienced on the biggest stages, boasting a collective resume that includes 1 World Cup final appearance, 2 Champions League finals, 1 Champions League title, and 1 European Championship title. And that is without even mentioning the devastating core already in the squad, such as Vinicius, Bellingham, and Valverde. What kind of destructive force could this combination of a cup-winning king and battle-hardened warriors produce in reality? The answer lies in what happened during the 2024-25 season.
By Jules Koundé, they were almost caught cold as Denzel Dumfries went in. Oh, what a flick! What a start! It's Marcus Thuram! And there's a chance, it's a second goal! And this time it's Denzel Dumfries with another brilliant finish. It's another good ball in, it's another header, it's another goal! And it's another one for Denzel Dumfries, who's having the night of his life.
Just look at the way Denzel Dumfries single-handedly tore Barcelona's defence apart in the Champions League semi-finals, scoring 2 goals, providing 3 assists across the 2 legs, winning player of the match in both games, then walking into the final with the composure of someone attending an ordinary Tuesday evening training session. That mentality was not a temporary burst of inspiration, but the mark of elite quality shared by true champions throughout this squad. The clearest example is Bernardo Silva, the man who proudly lifted the Champions League trophy in Istanbul in 2023.
To the right-hand side this time, here's Bernardo Silva. Could he be the man? Not to be. Rodri! 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 Rodri!
This star has maintained his place among the world's elite for 9 consecutive seasons without ever backing down from pressure. However, to build an unbreakable steel framework, Real Madrid need more than elegant midfielders. They also need a cornerstone who has experienced every joy and heartbreak that top-level football can offer. That is why Ibrahima Konaté arrived to complete the puzzle. The French centre-back is more than familiar with the taste of victory after collecting an FA Cup, 2 Carabao Cups, and most recently winning the Premier League with Liverpool last season. He has also experienced the suffocating atmosphere of a World Cup final, where despite France falling to Argentina, Konaté still stood tall on the biggest stage in football. A warrior accustomed to lifting trophies, and even when defeat arrived on the final night, he still walked away with his head held high.
Very happy, and I don't have words to describe what I feel right now, because it was a very difficult moment for me and my family the last 2 weeks, but this is part of the life and it's very hard to accept, but we don't have the choice to do it. And I saw the team, we had some injured players. I know I was not the manager on the call, and he said to me I can take my time, I don't have to rush my back, but with this situation I think it was important for me to come back and to help the team. And I think this is what I did today with the team, with the on-pitch. The atmosphere was unbelievable today, and this is what we need until the end of the season.
But Real Madrid did not stop there. They continued strengthening the flanks with a genuine trophy collector, someone who will silence every doubt about his value. That man is Marc Cucurella, and do not let the €60 million price tag fool you. This is absolutely not a stopgap solution. We are talking about the star who won Euro 2024 with Spain, then went on to conquer the Conference League and the 2025 Club World Cup with Chelsea. 3 major trophies in less than 13 months.
Cucurella obviously had a great time at Chelsea. He's been a key player for the club. He's such a tenacious left back.
When you ask Cucurella what he knows about the pressure of finals, the answer is not 1 victory, but 3 consecutive triumphs at the highest level. Bringing together these steel-willed personalities creates a team that knows no fear, turning Real Madrid into a psychological fortress. They go far beyond the definition of talented players learning how to handle pressure. They are warriors who have lived inside pressure, been burned by it, and still remain standing. Next season, when Real Madrid enter a do-or-die battle, nobody in that dressing room will have to turn to one another and ask, what does this kind of pressure feel like? They already know it better than anyone, and that is the priceless legacy that money can never buy. This philosophy of dominance aligns perfectly with the ruthless pragmatism of the man who will lead from the front at the Bernabeu. Mourinho completely rejects the idea of playing for entertainment and focuses solely on the ultimate objective, winning at all costs. After 26 years at the highest level, the way he wins remains rooted in the same core principles, building from a solid defence, maintaining strict structural discipline, and mercilessly exploiting every opportunity. That defensive fortress is becoming clearer than ever through the personnel the Portuguese manager now has at his disposal. Look at the new defensive system taking shape. Cucurella, Konaté, Rudiger, Dumfries. It is a practical and precise calculation that follows the formula Mourinho has relied on throughout his career. He is recreating the familiar framework of centre-backs willing to bleed for the greater cause, like Ricardo Carvalho, John Terry, Pepe, and Sergio Ramos in years gone by, combined with two complete wing-backs to form an impenetrable defensive block. In this setup, Konaté provides ideal physicality and explosive recovery speed, Rudiger adds resilience and controlled madness, while the wing-back duo of Cucurella and Dumfries offers maximum flexibility, allowing the team to switch systems seamlessly depending on the flow of the match. Such a solid defensive platform is the perfect launchpad for the creative minds further up the pitch to maximise their danger. At the centre of this operation is Bernardo Silva, the player who completely changes the equation in midfield.
I think they're getting a player who's obviously got a huge drive to win, he's been very successful throughout his career, he's been trusted, he's been available, and he's played, I think, probably 99% of all the games he could have done for the years he was at Man City, which was a lot of years as well.
For the past 2 seasons, Real Madrid have desperately needed a midfielder capable of controlling the rhythm of a match rather than simply acting as a pressing machine or a pure box-to-box runner. They needed a brain capable of deciding when to launch attacks, when to slow the game down and retain possession to drain the opponent's energy before delivering the knockout blow. And Silva is the perfect solution. Under Pep Guardiola, he operated as a tireless number 8, but under Mourinho, this role could evolve into that of a true metronomo, a direct link between defence and attack, the master of the game's tempo, and the architect of deadly spaces for Vinicius, Mbappe, or Endrick to exploit further forward.
So I think for Mourinho, having him there, he's somebody that knows he can trust, he's reliable, can play in whichever position you like. And I think with Bernardo as well, he's very good at understanding like game state. Does it need to be quicker? Does it need to be slower? Having an impact in terms of when somebody needs to be taken down, he'll do that. Assisting, you can do that, can score goals as well. I think he's very much a complete player, and for Real Madrid, obviously they've had their issues, but I think this is a player that can potentially help solve some of those problems long term.
Once the midfield has found its true conductor, the personnel puzzle in attack immediately finds its solution and becomes every defence's worst nightmare. The reason opponents should be deeply concerned is that Mourinho does not need to worry much about the attacking department. Elite weapons such as Vinicius, Mbappe, Rodrigo and Endrick possess more than enough quality to decide matches through goals on their own. The Portuguese manager's only task is to create a stable platform that allows these stars to attack freely, and the newly assembled defensive core provides a far stronger foundation than anything seen over the past 2 seasons. This scenario recalls the historic 2011-12 campaign, when Mourinho's Real Madrid stormed through La Liga with a record 100 points and 121 goals, finishing 9 points ahead of Barcelona. That incredible achievement was built upon an unbreakable team structure that no opponent could bring down, combined with a ruthless ability to punish every mistake whenever the opposition left even the slightest opening.
Presence, leadership, respect, appreciation for a successful career, all of those things will be important within that locker room, and I think he'll be a conduit of information between José Mourinho and the rest of the players.
The upcoming 2026-27 season promises to be the most advanced evolution yet of that winning formula, with a footballing genius like Bernardo Silva orchestrating play from the centre circle. Real Madrid can now shed the image of a team that merely waits to strike on the counter-attack. They possess the ability to suffocate matches at will and explode into action the moment they sense even the slightest opening in their praised defence. Yet the road to this brutal pursuit of glory will certainly not be as smooth as it appears on paper. After all, this is Real Madrid, and at the Bernabeu, nothing is ever simple. Before dreaming of the glorious image of Mourinho proudly lifting the Champions League trophy into the night sky, we must confront the very real risks that could bring this entire dynasty crashing down. The first obstacle is the issue of age and injuries. The harsh reality is that Bernardo Silva is already 31. Dumfries has reached 30, and Rudiger is now 33. Even more concerning is Ibrahima Konaté, a centre-back with a history of injury problems, having missed as much as 3 months through thigh and ankle issues over the last 2 seasons alone. Meanwhile, Mourinho is renowned as an extremely demanding manager whose methods place enormous physical demands on his players. The big question now is whether this ageing and somewhat fragile core can maintain peak performance throughout a grueling campaign, spanning La Liga, the Champions League and the Copa del Rey. Alongside concerns about fitness, another ticking time bomb follows the Portuguese manager wherever he goes. It is the dressing room, the eternal storyline of Mourinho's career. The special one is famous for igniting fighting spirit and creating extraordinary unity in the short term. But he has also been at the centre of fierce conflicts whenever major personalities can no longer tolerate the suffocating pressure of his demanding management style.
At the moment, Real Madrid are an ill-disciplined club. They've got ill-disciplined players. When they start to lose games, we see Denzel get sent off for a reckless challenge. We've seen Mbappe go over the top on a player when things weren't going his way. We've seen Vinicius Junior's antics. We've seen Jude Bellingham not being disciplined on the field. Goulet got himself sent off a couple of times after the final whistle. Do you think that Mourinho is going to stop that ill discipline? He's going to add to it. Whenever you see Mourinho now, and that's going to happen more and more and more when he comes to Real Madrid. It's going to be fun to watch, but it's not going to be pleasant, I don't think.
During his first spell at the Bernabeu, Mourinho himself described his third season as the worst period of his career because of internal fractures within the squad. This time, the challenge will be even greater as he attempts to manage superstars such as Vinicius, Mbappe and Bellingham. Egos carrying Ballon d'Or level status are never likely to shrink for anyone.
But I think in this moment, having the likes of Mbappe and Vinicius Junior there, you can try and empower somebody that maybe doesn't have their same rank, but that doesn't necessarily put them on the same level as those two players in terms of level of importance, especially to the dressing room space as well. So I think he'll have to do things differently according to what it was from back then.
That clash of personalities becomes even more likely in the uniquely ruthless environment of Spain's Royal Club. This is where the third risk emerges, the pressure for immediate success. Real Madrid simply does not recognise the concept of a transition season or a period of experimentation. At the Bernabeu, the only philosophy is to win immediately, and 2 trophyless seasons have already pushed the patience of the Madridistas to its absolute limit. One shaky September, filled with a few disappointing results, would instantly unleash the familiar question from the Spanish media: who will be the next man in the hot seat? Mourinho understands this reality better than anyone because he experienced it firsthand during his first 3-year spell in Madrid. The challenge is whether he can show enough patience and maintain the necessary stability for his system to fully take shape before the pressure becomes overwhelming.
He will be a disruptor. So I think there'll be players within that group he will immediately take a dislike to, immediately. And to see who will be left will be very, very interesting.
Immediately take a dislike to the players that you know are expendable if you're José Mourinho. Because one of the things that I think he has done very well over the course of his managerial career is understanding who he can pick on, who he can go after, who is vulnerable, and who he needs to move on in order for him to have the full power that is required for him to be the manager of a club like Real Madrid. And this team hasn't built any sort of equity over the last couple of years, so they have no say-so, these players, to push back to José Mourinho. He has free reign now to come in and push as far and as long as he wants to push, because this team, well, has earned the reputation of being a group that needs to be pushed. So here comes José Mourinho. I don't know whether this is going to work. I've said that this would not have been my first choice, but it's going to be entertaining. And for those of us that cover it, it's going to be really entertaining, because there will not be a dull moment at Real Madrid come next season.
Those concerns about the system itself are further amplified by a fourth risk: Bernardo Silva entering the latter stages of his elite career. At 31, the Portuguese star's goals and assists are no longer as explosive as they were during his peak years at Manchester City. His primary role now is to dictate and control the rhythm of the game. However, if Mourinho fails to utilise him correctly, or if Silva's physical condition declines during the demanding final stretch of the season, the brain expected to guide the entire system could break down and become the team's fatal weakness.
Bernardo Silva now lining up for Real Madrid. Are you putting him on the right? Because at 31 years old, is he still capable of running the right wing? Are you going through the middle? Well, if you're going through the middle, now you got to move Jude Bellingham. Are we moving Jude Bellingham backwards? Are you sending Jude Bellingham more forward and moving Mbappe out to the wing? We don't know what Mourinho was going to do with them yet. But what I'm telling you is, based off what Real Madrid has, Bernardo Silva is not the first thing that comes to your mind that you go, this is what they need. This is what's going to shore up the midfield. This is what's going to fix the wing problem. No.
Yet beyond all the doubts and risks, the overall picture at the Bernabeu remains deeply intimidating once every piece is placed together. We are witnessing a collection of elite conquerors. José Mourinho with 26 trophies and an unbeaten record in European finals. Ibrahima Konaté carrying the experience of a World Cup final. Denzel Dumfries with the experience of 2 Champions League finals. Bernardo Silva as a European champion. And Marc Cucurella, fresh from conquering Europe with Spain. Remember, all of these high-quality additions arrived at the Bernabeu for a combined fee of less than 80 million euros. A truly astonishing figure in today's transfer market. Now, these battle-hardened pillars will merge with an already formidable foundation featuring Vinicius, Bellingham, Valverde, Mbappe and Rodrigo. Barcelona have just lifted the La Liga title, and they fully deserve that achievement. But Real Madrid have never been a club willing to sit back and watch their rivals enjoy a golden era. They are quietly rebuilding in the smartest and most ruthless way possible, under the guidance of the very manager who once transformed this white shirt into a relentless machine that collected 100 points and scored 121 goals. The landscape has changed. The question is no longer, can Real Madrid compete? The real question now is, are La Liga, and especially Barcelona, ready to face this storm? This is a thunderous warning sent to the rest of Europe. If you enjoy our video, don't forget to hit like to help this video reach to other football lovers, and hit the subscribe button to follow for more interesting videos about football stories. See you in the next video.